I don't know how one can go their entire life or quote unquote till marriage to have sex. How can you do that? It is one of the most enjoyable things in the world. There's nothing like having a fucking wet pussy with your dick in it. There's nothing like it.
We have Sean here today. Absolute weapon. Have my ice cube ball here too, as you can see. With some fine water. I have cut off drinking. So until I hit a certain goal, like I can't like drink alcohol or anything. So we're doing this stone cold sober. But we're also getting slapped with a hurricane right now. Are you getting slapped with a hurricane too? Where are you at again?
I'm down here in Florida actually, so the hurricane was supposed to hit me literally yesterday, right in the area that I was in. So it was coming up, it was coming up. It was like, yep, here it is. Like here's a little cone. It's gonna smack me literally in the panhandle and never hit me. So it ended up veering off way east. So
I'm getting hit with the hurricane more than you, bro. It's fucking crazy. And you're in Florida. Ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, dude, let's like look at it right now at the window. It's like gray. I don't even know if you can see it.
Dear God.
Let me see, dude. Yeah, you can see the rain on the window like a little bit. There's the city over there. Check it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
none of that here,
we did an
man.
in-person event, dude, would you come to it?
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Should we do it?
Hell yeah, I would.
Dude, it'd be lit over here, wouldn't it?
I mean, anywhere actually, doesn't matter.
I was thinking that we get like a yacht in like Florida or Mexico, and we all just like do that for like the week. That could be like a client retreat thing, dude. Be so much fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it definitely would be. So I'm actually PCSing. So PCSing means I'm moving bases. So I
Mhm.
was in Pensacola. Now I'm going to Jacksonville. So I'll be right there on the water.
How how much time have you served? In
So
Marine,
I'm Navy. So
Navy,
I'm 9 months in right now.
Navy. Okay, dude, how do you like it, man? How was boot camp?
Boot camp for me was it was definitely an eye opener. It was a big change of culture. It was a shock. A lot of things I never thought I'd have to know. I knew. Now I know. A lot of different customs and courtesies. Not something that the average person would be, like, oh wow, that's actually something you do, and it's just what we do, And what else? It was long. It was about 10 weeks long. So not being able to talk to family was kind of rough.
Oh, I
I
forgot
got
they do take your phones, don't they?
Yeah, so not anymore, but now when I went through 9 months ago, they still did. So for about 2 months, I got three phone calls, which was kind of rough.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah, it was rough. Not being able to know what's going on back home, whatever it is, doesn't good, bad, or indifferent, you still want to hear about how it's going on and wasn't able to. So it was rough. Still got letters, I mean, kind of felt like you were home, but you're really not, it's not the same as hearing your voice.
Right.
So I mean, other than that, it wasn't too bad. Good group of guys that I was with, about a 91 of us in the division, and we all just hunkered through and made it through at the end of the day, and all walking down the drill hall, graduating, and now we're almost every one of us are gone out into the fleet. There's only about a couple left of us that are still in school. My school was technically one of the longer ones. There's only about two other people, and they're nukes, so they got a little more while to go.
Right. Right. Who'd you I'm curious, man, who'd you use the three phone calls on? Or is it private? Was it any girls?
Nah, no. Definitely not any girls. It was definitely family. Mainly my older brother, who's oddly enough going through boot camp right now. He's graduating in a week, so I'll see him graduate too. So I mean, that's kind of lit having both of us in there, but not really 'cause I didn't really want him to join. The reason why I joined was so he didn't have to. And here he is joining. So
Really? So he didn't have to.
what's that?
So he didn't have to. Interesting.
No, so his story is a whole different story. He was going through a couple jobs and he ended up getting laid off on one of them due to a stupid mistake. And instead of trying to try out a different job, he's like, I see you're succeeding in the military. I'm just gonna follow in your footsteps, and hopefully that comes for me too. But reality is, everybody's experience is different. My experience, I'm in a totally different field than what he's going into. So his experience is going to be something totally different than mine. So
Hmm.
Hopefully it works out for him. Obviously, I'll be here to support him in every way possible. But at the end of the day, he really didn't have to do it. Um, but he chose to, so I'm gonna support him in it.
Dude, can you talk about like your story? Because like you're crushing it now, dude. Like you have a
Yeah,
girl literally tweeting about you right now, which is
yeah, man.
fucking hilarious. But I mean, dude, like what is like the origin story of Sean? Like what's like your hero's journey, man? I want to hear about
Yeah.
that.
Do you want it from day one, or do you want it from like a couple years ago?
Like the highlights, man. Like what happened when you were younger, the struggles, the chapters you had to go through, where you almost probably felt like giving up at some points, dude. And like
Oh
what
yeah,
happened,
for
dude?
sure, for sure, for sure. We'll start out the big pinnacle of everything. The age of what was it? Holy crap. I'd say like four, between the ages of 4 and 8. Those the 4 year span right there was probably one of the worst, upon a couple other things that I'll mention here. But I was sexually assaulted for those 4 years heavily. My stepbrother, he thought it was totally okay to just do whatever he wanted to do.
Holy shit.
So those 4 years were pretty rough, and then after we finally got to the age of knowing that, hey, this is wrong. I mean, 8 years old is technically still not an age of understanding that something like that is wrong. But like I had a general understanding that, like, hey, this probably should not be happening. So after I went forward to my parents, got a whole bunch of different agencies involved. The investigation went on for probably about 3 more years after that. So we got rid of the problem, in the person, but everything that followed with it was still there. So at the end of the day, I think I was about maybe 11, maybe 12 years old, when everything was finally like, hey, it's done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You're going to go to counseling for a couple of years, make sure that you know that this was not your fault, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is not everything that happens to one person is just like, hey, you can just brush it off, you know? And I actually didn't brush it off for a long time. That stuck with me for a while. That was one of the key factors in struggling with talking to anybody. Was like, hey, I was just sexually assaulted by some guy for the past 4 years. What makes me worthy to have something as a female, as a relationship with anybody for that? So that was one of the major struggles. Then time went on, things started getting back into the groove, have a great relationship with my parents, my brother, blah, 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 blah. You know, my dad started abusing me, in very extensive ways, hitting verbally, you name it, it happened. Something that should never happen to anybody. In fact, he left my family twice. So not having a father figure was also a huge factor because as simple as learning how to shave, fathers should be teaching their son how to shave, talking to them about what's going to happen to them in puberty, how to treat a woman. You're supposed to pull the chair out, quote unquote, supposed to open the door, all those things I was never taught, not by my father. So not having a father figure was definitely a big impact on a lot of different things as well. So I had that happen. And then at the age of 16, no, a little bit earlier than that. But yep, 16. My mom decided she wanted to divorce my father. So that went up for, oh my gosh, it's still going on now. The divorce is final, but like the remnants of it is still going on. The arguments, to this, to that, hey, I belong with you, you belong with me. It doesn't matter anymore because I'm more than enough old enough to make my own decisions. But before the fact of turning 18, court ordered, it was like, hey, you have to fight for whether you want your kids or not. So that the remnants of everything that was left was pretty big. The courts didn't finish for about 4 years in total. Just asking the whole family, like my brothers and I, like, do you want to be with this parent? Do you want to be with this parent? Why do you want to be with this one? And it just kept going and going and going and dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. So I never actually felt like, hey, even if I wanted a girl, would it be the right time? You know, would it be optimal for me? I struggled talking to women, doesn't matter, hot, ugly, indecent, didn't matter. Wherever you put them on the scale. If I saw a woman, I was like shaking in my boots. No matter how it looked, no matter how it was. what to say, how to say it, even if it was a general conversation. I couldn't say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Couldn't do it. I just kind of put my head down and keep going, you know. So a good example of this is it was eighth grade. Eighth grade when I got my first look at um, female being obsessed with me. It was insane, actually.
Really?
And I went right over the top of my head. I kid you not, it just went woof. I look back on it now. I literally look back on it now and I was like, yeah, this woman was literally obsessed with me. She was doing all the things that, quote unquote, a girl friend would want. She was showing very high interest, very physically touching, very, affectionate in other ways. I didn't know what to do. I was lost, confused. I had so many different problems in my personal life. I wasn't able to put them aside to actually focus on one thing. I couldn't do it. So now that I look back on it, I do look back on it occasionally just to learn from the experience. The experience of knowing that this is sort of what it's like or what it was like. Now doesn't matter. I got women left to right. Like that doesn't matter to me. I can walk up to anybody, have a civilized conversation. I can flirt, even if I don't even want anything to do with you. I mean, if you got a boyfriend, I don't really care. I'm still gonna flirt with you. It's just the way it is. The guys that I go out with sometimes they turn their head and they're like, "How the fuck do you do that?" It's just because I've learned that like I'm away from all this shit, man. This shit is no longer with me. I'm out of that. I'm actually over 1,700 miles away from home. The hell is that shit gonna do to me here? Like I'm out there, I'm living life, man. I'm having a great time. Um, I don't know, man. What other questions you got? That's about it. Those are the highlights.
No, dude, you have quite the origin story, man. I remember, dude, like even my parents went through a divorce, and we were sitting in the car, and I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I remember we were sitting in the car with my dad. It was my brother in the front seat. I was sitting in the back seat. I barely remember this, dude. For some reason, like when my parents went through a divorce, I have like repressed memories or something like that because I don't remember a lot of it. And I'm like, wow, dude, that was like 5 years. I remember like three parts of it that lasted like, just a very small memory. I'm like, what the fuck happened in those years? It's really weird. And I remember though there was one man we were sitting in the car and like they had already decided they're getting a divorce and like they were wrapping it up basically with the paperwork and all that. And we're sitting in the car, dude. My dad was like, "So who would you rather be with more, or who do you want to live with, mommy or daddy?" Is what they said. What my dad said. And I was like, my brother was like, both. Like, why can't we do both? I was like, yeah, like both. I had no idea what was going on, dude. I was about to make like, I could have easily been like, oh, you, and I would never have like saw my mom again. I went crazy, dude. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like 6. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to be with
Yeah,
you both.
yeah.
Dude,
That was one of the
crazy.
main questions that the judge would ask, the attorneys would ask. That was definitely one of the questions.
Hmm.
And then, mom would do some things to try to quote unquote impress. And dad would do the same, I'll take you on these extravagant adventures and this and that, and I'll give you this and I'll give you that. Trying to persuade which side you want to go on. So I had the same experience.
You got asked the same question, like who you want to be with more?
Oh yeah. I had that question asked too many times.
It's tough, isn't it?
I mean, not really, not in the scenario that I had. The clear cut answer was very clear, but the courts wanted to award time to my father.
Really?
Like, hey, you have X because you're still the father, you have allotted this much time. You know, you have this X amount of days per the week, court ordered, I don't care. I mean, personally, if it wasn't for that, I'd probably never seen him. And it's just the way it would have been. A court order stated that I had to see him, so I showed up there because I had to.
Yeah, I guess it was definitely interesting for your situation, like getting abused. I'd be like, shit, I don't want to spend time with my father either. Who
It's kind
would?
of where it was. And his mother, my grandmother, had no great impact on it either. She actually encouraged it, oddly enough. So like his mother encouraged him to do whatever he was doing because she thought that he was doing good. In reality, he never actually told her what was going on. He put on this little fake face anytime he was around her. It was always like grand and dandy, but as soon as the door is shut, it'd be totally different.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't really even women, like it doesn't matter. Everybody has a story. it may not be as bad as one other story, but for instance, the girl that was actually coming here tonight, she had a very interesting origin to where she came from. I never asked. It's not my business. But I create an environment where they're open and free to talk about whatever they want. And 99% of the time, they're going to tell me where they came from. I just sit there and listen, because at the end of the day, it's all people want. They want to be heard, especially women. They just want to be heard, So I sit there and usually cuddling in a bed just like that right there. And they're just chatting away. I don't say anything much. I just call it opening the door, letting them step in. I open the next door, they step in. I open the next door, they step in. And that's just what I do. And I hear their origin story. So everybody's story is different. And everybody goes through their own struggle. And I enjoy personally hearing about other people's struggle. I don't ever open up about my own. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I want to hear about yours. So now when I'm having sex with you, it's a lot more intimate for you. Because now I know your entire story. So,
Wow, yeah, dude. Like, dude, giving that's just like love, man. It's like making them feel free to like share what they want to share with you. I think you've done such a great job at that too, because the Sean that started working with us, started working with me what, like 2 years ago, three, two?
it's almost 3 years now, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's like, dude, when you first came to us, and it first came to me, it was almost like the exact opposite. And now, like, dude, you've done such a great job at, and that's how I know like you've gotten there is because you understand that, dude, you're making her feel heard and understood. And that's especially what women want today. And there's like this quote, man, where it goes, I fucking forget, honestly. But it's something about like listening. It's like people will hear you, but they won't listen to you. And like listening is like in the soul. But yeah, I totally fucking butchered that. So, we'll have to I'll have to put that in the comments or something, man, what it was. But I guess like a nice backup is you've you have two ears and one mouth, so you can listen twice as much as you speak. Not as good as what I was gonna say, but that's like a nice second. Like we can run with that.
It'll
But
work. It'll work.
it'll work.
So I can tell you that a lot of with this specific female that I actually, believe it or not, for the past 3 nights I've banged this girl in the back of my car,
Oh,
and
really?
I've literally just been going at it, and we've had very um interesting conversations about the origin of us, how it started. Um, she was it's very interesting. It's an interesting story. So we talked about that pretty in depth. Talked about some different things she enjoyed, some different things that I enjoyed. Because our time was supposed to be over. I'm leaving, she's leaving. Our time was supposed to be over. And then it's crazy because I was about to drop her off. Right, she was opening the door, and she was like, "No, I'm not leaving yet." I said, "Okay, all right." Gets back in the car, right, and she's like, "Fuck this, man. I can't do this. What's the address to your hotel that you're staying at for the next 4 nights?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. I mean, sure. I'm not complaining. Whatever." So I sent her my address, and she had work today, but she's getting off at like midnight. So she's like, "I'll be there as soon as I get off of work." I said, "Oh, okay." So she's gonna be here tonight, tomorrow night, the following night, and then I leave Monday. And now I definitely got to cut it off unless she wants to drive 5.5 hours to where I'm gonna be, which wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Yeah, sounds like she would, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, but it's she's a. I even asked her. I was like, "Listen, if we were stationed here for 3.5 years, would you consider dating?" She goes, "Hmm, never put really in. I never put thought into that." I was like, "Just a question. You don't have to, really ponder on it." And then, so we were cuddling at this time, right? I was underneath her head, so her head was here, my head was here. So I felt her nod her head. I was like, I felt that nod. She starts laughing. I'm like, okay, all right, I see how it is. Pretty unfortunate we don't have enough time here. So I'll say that the sex tonight is probably going to be a lot really passionate because it's going to be some of the last times. That's for
That's tough.
sure.
But hey, it's gonna be beautiful for sure. When did you know, man? Like when did you feel like you're like, I don't know, like you're just in your masculine when did you feel that moment where you're like, dude, it just feels like everything has just connected and like you understand her and you know exactly where she's at, you know exactly what to do, like, and you know like exactly how to
Oh yeah,
build it.
great
Like,
question.
what was that moment for you?
Great question. So I'll give you a little bit of a background story to it, right? So I matched with her on Hinge. Well, it was actually Tinder. I matched with her on Hinge too, so we matched on both platforms. And I wasn't gonna make a move. I didn't have any reason to make a move on her. I didn't want her. I didn't want anything to do with her. Strictly because I didn't really mess with women, who were bi. I didn't really want to. I didn't really know what the perks would have been, So she ended up hitting me up. She was like, she sucks at texting. She's terrible. Holy fuck, man, terrible, right? So she goes, "Hey," with the triple Y's, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go." So I
Mm.
did my whole thing. I was like, I don't do these things, blah 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 blah. I was like, let's just get the number and we'll finish talking there. That's what I did in my head. I calculated it, the whole 9 yards. I set up a whole plan, got the number by like maybe 4 messages later, hit the number. I was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" She's like, nothing. I was like, "All right, cool. So what if we did a little thing?" She's like, um, "Okay, I'm down." So we ended up going to the sunset. We watched sunset. We kind of walked up and down. So I got my first glimpse of her, when we were just chatting there. Went back to the room. I actually shot you a text because I wasn't sure why she wouldn't want to have sex the first night. I don't know if you recall that text, but I asked her. I asked her last night. I was like, "So, just out of curiosity, I mean, it don't matter now. It's really irrelevant because I fucked you too many times." But at this point, I was just curious, why was it that the first night, you know, was holding you back? Were you on your period? Were you just not sure? She's like, "Oh no, I would have fucked you that night, 100%." I'm like, "Oh, okay. So what was the holdback?" She was, "I wasn't sure if you had the proper material. I wasn't sure if you had a condom or something." And I was like, "You think a guy's gonna show up to a hookup without the proper material?" She goes, "I don't know. I wasn't sure." I was like, "Okay, whatever. It don't matter." So the second night, right, the very next weekend, she was unsure because I dropped her off the next morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. Checkout was 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, right? So I shot her a text. I was like, "I hope you had a good time." Blah 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 blah. I asked her what she enjoyed the most, and I texted her the next weekend. I was like, "All right, cool. So round two question mark?" She goes, "Hell yeah!" So we pulled up for round two. Pulled
That's
up
fun.
for round two, right? And it was great. When you want to talk about the connection, like you just asked, like the masculinity collection,
Yeah.
connection, not collection, connection, it was after the second time. Because after the second time, I realized that's like, at the end of the day, I know what I can provide these females in the bed. So I think that was a missing factor. I'll be totally frank with you. Because now that I know what I can provide them in the bed, I can speak with my dick a little bit. So it allows me to get them more aroused before I even get them into bed, more interested, more like, "Holy shit, what is this guy gonna do to me?" The unknown, as we talked about, the unknown,
Mhm.
and I seem to be really good at doing that. So,
Yeah, you are.
second time I laid the pipe down, I gave it to her, and blah 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 blah. The whole 8 weeks later now, I'm still fucking her every weekend, still hanging out with her every weekend. So it's really dope. And one of the main things that I asked her last night, key point was like, what made my sex different from every other guy that you've had? Right? That sounds like a really like um non-dominant thing to ask. It's kind of like you should know that your sex is good. There's a really reason why I asked. And it's because she had mentioned to me many times that her sex prior had been real shit. The guys never cared about her. She just wanted to get off and leave, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
So I wanted to ask her, I was like, "So how is mine different from theirs?" I'm a rookie, Selma. I am a rookie. Literally just lost my virginity, you know. So I asked her, I'm like, "So what made mine different?" She goes, "Because you actually cared to get me off. Like every single time I've had sex with you, I've literally come every time, probably 7 times." I
Hmm.
was like, Okay, I'm interested as to why other males don't care about that. But me personally, that feeling's great. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, that feeling is great. You know, So I asked her that, and she was like, "Yeah." And then she went into these whole stories about what these other males were doing to her. They just like, oh my god, so corny, man, so fucking corny,
What were they
so
doing?
corny. So one of the ones she told me, she was like, the only other time I had car sex other than with you was with this guy. I was like, okay, obviously it's a guy, blah 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 blah. Get on with the story.
Good,
You
yeah.
know,
As a guy, like shit. What if it was a chick? You're like, oh, interesting.
well, she has been with about two chicks. I asked her that too. I'm like, so if you're bi, how many chicks have you been with? She goes,
Interesting.
about two. I'm like, not that I really care, honestly. I don't give a fuck. It don't matter to me. So, story about the guy with her was like, she gets in the back seat. He walks around right to the other side of the car. He opens the door, puts her in a modified doggy. Right?
What was a modified doggy?
I couldn't tell you. That's just what
What
her
is
words.
it?
Her words, not mine. Right?
What?
So, modified doggy. All right, is banging her for probably about a minute. Right? She
Okay.
gets nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. This guy has premature ejaculated already. Literally shuts the door and says, "Okay, goodbye." Takes her and
What?
drops her off. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
wait a minute. And out of curiosity, I asked her, did you go out with him again? She goes, unfortunately, and that was even weirder because he was trying to touch me and shit. I was like, that's really strange because PDA with her in public is literally like none other. She's all for it. She's all up on me all the fucking time when I'm out in public.
For real? What does she be doing?
Touching my ass, grabbing my dick, grab my fucking, whatever she fucking wants. I mean, do I do the same thing? Won't confirm nor
Oh,
deny.
no way. No, of course not. It's all her.
I'm an innocent child. I'm a dove. Come on.
Bro, that's what happens, dude. Bro, when you nailed it, like when you got that attraction just so high, dude, like, bro, girls are like, I'm just not a PDA type of girl. Yes, you fucking are. When you're in love with a dude, every girl is a fucking PDA girl. I don't care
I'm gonna
what you
read you this.
say, who you are, bro. Every girl is a PDA girl when they're in love with you. And they're all a
I'm, I'm,
talkative
I'm,
girl too.
oh, her texting. I'm looking, like, I looked back on it the other day. I was like, so where is it where I was like, I locked it right there. You could tell because all these texts, man. She said she's a bad texter. She is not a bad texter, man. She is not at all. I'm gonna read you some of them real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna find the most important one. Hold on, give me a second. She talks about her playing with herself all the fucking time, man. It's insane. Like this
Naughty,
one right here. She's
naughty.
like, she's like, oh my god, I just finished and you can see through my shorts. I was like, damn.
Bro, I've been seeing the text you be sending her, man. You've been putting them in the chat, and I'm like, damn, dude, this girl is crazy about you, man. Like she is like in love with you.
Hold on,
Like she's
hold on, hold on.
like, yeah, I'm so wet. Like she's saying the craziest stuff, man. I'm like, dude, but that is what girls do when you did it right. Like girls are talking like that. But yeah, what's the next text?
So this one right here, one of them, because I was asking her. I actually went to the gym one time with her. This was more recently. And I was trying to get it out of her. She wouldn't tell me. And
Tell you
I was
what,
like, come on. She about what she enjoyed the most. What do you want to do this next time? Because it's probably gonna be our last time having sex. What do you want to do? What is that closing thing out to make you remember this experience?
mhm.
She wouldn't tell me, right? She tells me all the time. She's like, I don't like to talk about it in person. You can talk about it all you want. I'm gonna show you another text in a second, but I will text it to you anytime you want. Like, all right, cool, whatever. So I chatted up with her for about 10, 15 minutes. I left. She sends me the text message. She goes, I was imagining me and you in missionary, but with you choking me, telling me how much of a slut I am for you while you pounding me.
These girls, man. Dude, people are like, bro, dating is so hard nowadays. Women just want one thing. It's like, dude, bro, dating is easier than ever if you just know how to do this. Like you'll get girls saying this shit, man. And guys will probably watch this, bro, beta males, and they'll be like, fucking flying here, bro. What is a fly doing in my place, dude? Pisses me off. But dude, beta males will be like, oh, that's a red flag when girls talk like that. Bitch, you're a red flag if you don't like
Oh
that.
man, I enjoy that shit.
You're a red
But
flag.
also,
If you don't like that shit, you're a red flag. You're a problem, dude.
I gotta find the one fucking text because man, I'm telling you, I talked to her. So she ended up getting shifted from days to nights because I was working nights for a while. I don't know if you remember me texting that, but I was working nights for about 2.5 months. She
Mhm.
got shifted to nights. So I got to see her for 10 hours a day on top of seeing her every weekend.
Damn.
You can imagine me walking up and down, fucking just gaming this girl, literally gaming her, right? So there's so many times, right, where I see her, she's kind of got her legs crossed a little bit. She's like, she tells me, she goes, shut the fuck up right now. Because I just be gaming the fuck out of her. I'd be telling her what I'm doing to her, just gaming her the whole nine
Right.
yards, right?
Right. Mhm.
And she's like, you gotta stop, like right now. Like, I am so fucking wet. You need to stop. This is uncomfortable. I'm like, girl, all I'm doing is talking to you. She's like, she sends me this text,
Do
right?
anything. Moving
She
my.
goes, I'm literally like, I'm so innocent. I don't know what you want me to like put my hand down there and help you out? Like what? Like, what do you want me to do? No. But anyway, she's like, she sends me this text a couple days later. She goes, well, I told her because we were sitting in a lounge, right? We were just chilling.
Yeah.
And she goes, I was talking to her, blah, blah, blah. I go, y'all females are lucky because they can just go like back to back to back to back to back to back all they want. Us males have a refractory period, blah, 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 whatever. She goes, you guys are lucky. You guys don't at least don't get periods. She goes, dang, I should have teased you a little bit in the lounge. Said you should have. She goes, my focus was on the trivia questions. We were playing a stupid game. I said, all you had to do was put your hand on my dick. She goes, all I have to do is be in your presence and I'm turned on.
See, bro, how is that your fault? You know what I mean? She's like, stop it. This is all your. I'm
That's
like,
literally, I'm telling you, that's what I tell her every single time. I'm texting her and she's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm wet right now. Just shut up. But like, I'm walking with her and I'm not even saying a damn thing. She's talking. She's doing all the talking. If you ask her right now, right, if I were to call her, and I've never called her, by the way, I've only texted her and only seen in person. I don't do
it's
this
all you
whole
have to do,
calling.
dude. It's all you have to do. Like people are like, oh, I'm gonna call her and warm her up. No, like what?
You ain't got to warm her up. I promise. If you know how to fucking text these bitches, man, there's no warming them up over the phone. You can just text them and get them there, you
Right.
know?
Easiest thing ever, man.
So
Thing ever.
whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I get her here, whole nine yards, man. It's great. It's amazing. And I was telling one of my buddies, I was like, look, man, great experience, blah, 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 blah. I was telling him how it was. And I ended up asking her last night, and I was like, hey, like, I ended up telling a couple buddies about like our little experience here, closer friends, not just random people. And she goes, oh, okay, cool. I go, have you, like ventured off other than your mother? She's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, my friend knows every little detail. I'm like, how detailed are we talking? She goes, if you shave down there, if your dick is big, if your dick is small, the whole nine yards.
Dude,
Like,
I was so surprised, man. Like the first time, like whenever a girl fall, like isn't like just head over heels for you. I was like, you told your friends what? Like, bro, like I remember, dude, I had an ex and she was like cracking jokes. She was like, they like got like bananas, right? And she was talking to her friend, like her roommate, and she was like, oh, this is Selna. I was like, bro, you girls do shit like this? Like you girls fucking say shit like this? Like I didn't know
you have
it.
no idea, man. The amount of shit they say to each other about the experience. I'm not kidding. Every single detail. What I did to her to the very second. And she replays that shit in her head every fucking time. I'm like, I'm lying in bed, right? I'm not lying in bed, but I'm sitting in the car with her, right? And she's like, I'm just playing back like every time I fucked you. Or like you fucked me rather. Like, I'm just playing it back like right now. I'm like, okay, so how detailed are we talking? She goes, oh, every bit of it. Like when we started, when I was grinding on you, to when you flipped me over, to when you moved to this, when you moved to that, when you're making out. She doesn't like to make out, which is really annoying to me because I enjoy making out. So I kind of I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to take the hit. You're gonna fucking make out with me. It is what it is. I don't really care. You
Love
know.
that. Way to dominate him.
So, oh, she's a sub, by the way, and I learned this a couple of weeks ago that she's a sub, and I was
Oh,
like,
you just like a submissive type?
yeah, like a submissive type, but
Okay.
totally submissive.
Okay.
Like if I can do whatever the fuck I want. She's texted me that so many times, man. She's like, I don't care. You can do whatever the fuck you want to me. You know, I'm not into the whole BDSM thing, whatever the hell. She's huge into that shit.
What is
You
BDS?
know,
What is that?
so that's kind of like tying up, handcuffs,
Oh, like that 50 shit.
whipping, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I've never been
I'm
into
not
that shit. I
really
feel like that's like a little, I'm like, I don't know. I've never really done that shit. So
It's a
I've
whole
done
different ball game, man. It's
oh
a
yeah,
whole
like
different
that's
ball game.
that I feel like that's just like a different bus kind of person. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
I
like
think,
it's an outlier kind of person, in my opinion, but could be
oh, it
totally
is for sure. You know, and I didn't really want to get into it too much. You know, I'm not really, I rather just do my thing and get the hell out. You know, I don't
right.
want to be tying you up and shit. I don't want none of that shit. I'm not even into it. That doesn't get me, you know, to where I need to be, you
Right.
know?
I feel the same way, dude. I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't turn me on. You know what I mean? But wet pussy
So,
every time.
oh, 100% of that. 100 anytime, dude. And she was like, listen, you can do whatever you want to me, blah, blah, blah. She made me take this BDSM test. She took the BDSM test as well, you know, and she shared her results with me. And forget it, man. She likes to be hung, this, that, and the third, you know, like hands tied back. I'm like, "Man, you're not getting any of that from me. We are just going to fucking, you know, I will give you the experience that you'll probably never have with another male. That's quote from her, not me. Quote from her. You know, the best experience that she's had by far by any man. And blah 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 blah. So I left her. She was like, okay, do me a favor. Can you at least leave marks? I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's fine. You know. So
Easy, easy money.
the last time I dropped her off, she texted me. She goes, "You've got bruises everywhere on my back, on my sides, on my tits. You know, everywhere. My ass,
Mhm.
my legs are sore. I can barely walk." I was like, "Sounds like I understood the assignment then, huh?" She goes, "Shut up." I was like, "Uh huh,
That's such a great
yep,
fucking comeback, bro. Such a solid comeback, dude.
yep."
I like experiences too, man. Like I don't like doing like all that like handcuffing and shit like that. It just doesn't get me there. Like,
Nah.
but like fun shit for me is like, dude, like when I look at the Colts stadium right there, hopefully the Colts are not watching this video, but like, dude, when I see the Colts stadium, I'm like, dude, I fucked a cheerleader in that stadium. Like that's cool to me to talk about. Like that's like I wrote about that in my fucking book, man.
I read your book. I remember
Right.
that.
Like I wrote
Yeah.
about it, dude. Like we were like in a suite, bro, and shit went down. I was like, that's cool to me. But like, like hanging and tying, I'm like, I feel like that's just like whatever. It's like whatever about it. Just doesn't get me going.
That takes a creepy man. I'm not gonna lie. It takes a creepy man.
Yeah, I feel like if
For
there's a
me,
guy that's like, yeah, I like doing that. It's kind of like, bro, I think I should edit our relationship a little bit.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I was just nah, man. I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not gonna provide that for you, right? Because personally, what gets me to where I need to be is physical touch, sound, and of course the wet fucking pussy. Like, you know, if I have all three of those, I'm set. You know, so if I got your fucking hands tied up, I can't get the physical touch. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? You
right,
know, you ain't rubbing down my back, you ain't stroking my shit, you know, you ain't doing none of that. So
right.
I'm just not doing it. You know, but I will give you everything you need to do to get to where you need to be. Little did I know, she fucking coming left and right. I'm feeling that shit everywhere. Oh my God, man. First time I did it, first time, you ready? Very first night. It wasn't before I actually had sex with her. She was just grinding on me in the whole 9 yards. And I'm feeling this wet thing on her shorts, right? And I was like, there's no way that you're fucking wet right now. You know, I'm like, this is insane. I'm
Mhm.
just spitting game and you're grinding on me. There's nothing special going on here, you know, other than of course my words, but we'll talk about that later, you know. And I'm feeling this, you know, she's grinding on me and I'm feeling this just dripping, literally fucking dripping through the shorts, man, dripping. And I was like, are you fucking like right now? He's like, no. And she covers her fucking face. I'm like, oh, somebody's lying to me. And I was like, you're gonna pay for that shit. You know, so the next weekend she fucking paid for that shit.
Bro, when I remember like you could like see like a girl's I remember I got this girl so wet once, like you could see it through her pants, and I was like, that's so fucking cool. And
Oh
you
yeah.
said it exactly, dude. Like it really is like nothing special. I feel like if a girl needs like all the handcuffs and shit to like she's not with the right guy if she needs that. Because like the right guy to get a girl off, you need to like it's emotional for her. It has to be an emotional experience. That's what we talked about. It's like, dude, it has to be an emotional experience for her. Versus like, oh,
Oh yeah,
like
man.
hanging and shit like that. It's like, dude, she does not need all that bullshit. And you don't either.
Yeah, man. I gave her a roller coaster every single time so far, and it's just gonna continue to be a roller coaster. Talk about those emotions and a roller coaster, man. She gets every bit of it when she's with me. She gets the high, when I'm pounding her, the low when I'm just lying there chilling out. She wants more. Dude, it's crazy because like if she wants more and I don't, I just push her ass away. I'm like, get the fuck out of my face. Go lie down. Like
How does
we're
that
cuddling
feel?
right now.
How does that
Like
feel?
we're was that?
How does that feel, dude, when it's like, dude, like you got a girl so crazy about you that you have to be like, baby, leave it alone. Give me
Yo,
like 10 minutes to
you have
recover.
no idea, man. My so we were going. I'll give you a great example, right? Probably about 2.5 hours. We're pushing 3 hours. We're going, right?
Mhm.
My dick is sore. Like she's squeezing her shit so tight, my shit is sore as hell. Right? I literally just picked her fucking up. I took her hips off my dick, put her off to the side, and I was like, like we chilling. Like this ain't happening. Like we're pushing 3 hours right now. Like my dick is sore. Like I'm still rock solid. That's not the difference. Like I'm not saying that. Like I don't care about that. I'm talking about my dick is sore. Like we're taking a break, you know. So we
Bro,
took that break. Blah 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 blah. What's that?
I said for sure, bro.
Yeah, pushed her off. We were just chilling, and then we went back at it in the morning, right? And God, did I give her? She was begging me to stop. She was like, she needs a break. She needs a break. I was like, fuck no, you ain't getting a break. We going at this thing. We just kept going and we kept going. She's like, she would like pull off, like, so her knees would be up and she like pull off. So like my dick was like this far
Mhm.
out. And I was like, shit ain't happening. Slam her back in. And she's like, no, no, just stop. I'm like, nope, we're going. And we just
That's
kept going.
bro, like have you ever went like so dude, the hurricane's like getting thicker, bro. It's like a fucking wall of rain coming at me right now. It's dope as fuck. But such a dramatic like environment for our interview right now. But have you with this girl, like, dude, you're fucking her so much, basically. Like, dude, have you ever like shot blanks before? Because you're just doing it so much. You never have?
So believe it or not, right? I'm gonna tell you why.
Make that your goal for next time, bro. Shoot a blank, bro. Just do it so much you start shooting blanks like 5 times, 6 times in a day.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick. Right. And I told her this. I was like, listen, there's only one time so far that I have climaxed with you. One time. Kind of strange, right? For a male to climax one time. So many times that I fucked her, it's only
Really?
one time that I actually climaxed with her.
Okay.
And I climaxed with her recently, actually. I did it because I wanted to finish in her, you know? And she was like, story about that real quick, leading up to this, right? She goes, and the very, very first time I was like, should I bring a condom? She's like, I would prefer it. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll just wear the condom the whole time. I don't care.
Right.
So the second time I asked her again, I was like, so we're still doing this condom thing, question mark? She was like, oh, fuck no. You're hitting me raw. I'm like, dope. Fucking awesome. She's not even on the pill, Selna. She wasn't on the pill for 5 of these weeks. And I was fucking her raw, right? But I never climaxed because I got her to climax. I wasn't really worried about me climaxing. I'll just fucking, you'll give me head. I'll finish in your mouth. I don't really care. I've got to climax in you. I don't, it's not my, that's not what I enjoy. I don't really care about that part. But I will tell you, when I did end up climaxing in her, that experience was something totally different. So to your point, right, of shooting blanks, when I fucking get her in here tonight, I'm gonna finish in her probably 3 times, 4 times. You know, it's
I feel that.
before it wasn't really a thing that I was like, yeah, blah 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 blah. But now that I did it, man, forget it. Fucking forget it, man. I'm gonna finish in her every time.
Bro, it's like a divine experience, dude. Like you just can't like describe it. Like, and
Yeah.
this doesn't mean for everyone watching, dude, like whenever you fuck a chick to like nut in her, like not the best idea probably if she's not on the pill. But me and Sean are kind of just savages, but whatever. But we'll keep that between us. Dude, the bro, I mean, I just feel that, man. The main point, dude, is like, bro, there are guys out there right now who they're like 30 years old, never have had sex, they're beta-tized, they don't like, dude, there are some guys out there that'll watch this interview and they'll never ever like change this or want that or do this. Like,
You know what's crazy? If I swear on everything, man. if I didn't have sex by now, like at the age that I'm at now, I'd probably be totally disappointed in myself. I probably would just never do it because I'm such a young age that where it is just so fucking enjoyable. I don't know how one can go their entire life or quote unquote till marriage to have sex. How can you do that? It is one of the most enjoyable things in the world. There's nothing like having a fucking wet pussy with your dick in it. There's nothing like it. I really don't care. You cannot argue. I asked one of my buddies, I was like, listen, I want to know which one's better. Is fucking this chick better or just any chick? Doesn't matter. Is fucking a chick better or is having like a solid conversation with a little bit of laughing better? And he goes, having a solid conversation with a little bit of laughing because I like to hear the laugh. I go, then you ain't having sex right, man. Like you ain't having it right. I don't care what you're telling me. You are not having it right. It does not matter. Because me, while I'm having sex, I laugh. I have a good time. There are times where you're gonna laugh a little bit. Maybe your dick pops out. You shouldn't, you laugh about it. You just laugh that shit off, put it back in. So you're
Right.
gonna laugh if you know how to do it.
Right.
If you don't know what you're doing, obviously I'm not trying to claim to be the greatest. I literally just started, but I'm telling you the experience that I've had. You laugh a little bit, it's gonna be even better. So
But now, dude, now you have the skills, like to where it's like you
but
can't. And there's some guys out there. I gotta tell a guy I'm supposed to be on a call right now, but I'm gonna tell him like 10 minutes. But dude, there are some guys out there right now that like, dude, they'll never have that experience. And like they'll never know what that feels like. And they'll feel like, oh, like getting lucky with a girl is kind of just like a once in a lifetime thing because they don't have the skills. Because they
it's
don't like,
definitely not.
isn't that sad, bro?
It definitely is not. You just need to be able to attract them, get them to where they need to be to get onto a date if you're looking to date, or get them to the point where you can take them on like a little, extravaganza like I did. Took them on a little sunset walk. Get them into the bed. I asked her, I was in the car the first time. I was like, so you want to just go back to base or do you want to like go to a room? She goes, I don't really care. I mean, like, what do you want to do? I said, you know what I want to do. I want to pound the fuck out of you. I don't care.
I appreciate the
She's
honesty.
she was like, okay, then let's go do that. Well,
Damn.
behold, guess what we did?
That's how we do it right there. That's Team SK's way, baby.
So
Dude, it's like, bro, like there you've grown like so much to where it's like now you can have women like, dude, you can do this with any girl. Like make them
100%.
hooked on you. What how, dude, there are guys out there right now that just will never take action. They'll never do a program like this, but they'll also never have what you have. What would you tell those guys?
What I tell them?
Yeah. What would you tell them?
But you better get to stepping, man. You better get to stepping because the experience as a whole, from day one to now, day one of working with Selna to now, the growth has been insane, right? He's seen it firsthand. I just told you numerous of stories leading up to it, of where I'm at now.
Yes.
If you don't take action, you truly don't want a woman in your life. I don't care what you're saying. I'm trying, I'm talking to them, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't take action to improve on something that you are miserable at or not good at or performing not too well in it, or like, hey, I can get a woman, like I can't keep them, I can't get them obsessed with me, you better start taking action, man. Because it doesn't take much. If you understand the fundamentals, you understand the things you need to apply. And of course, there's obviously more advanced things, right? Like saying certain things to get them wet while you're walking. Obviously that's advanced.
Yeah.
Not every guy can just come out of any program and just have a woman wet by walking, like, or crossing their legs, or you're seeing some wet spots, some white wet spots, when you're in public. Not everybody's gonna see that. It takes time. But if you don't take the initiative to make the action and make something happen, you're gonna be stuck. As someone was saying, you're gonna be a beta male for the rest of your fucking life. If you can do that, that's off to you. But if you truly want something and you want to be the top 1%, top 2%, whatever it may be at this point, you got to take action. You have to. I personally, right, someone, keep me if I'm wrong here, right? If I'm sitting around the dinner table and it's just me when I'm 60 years old, I done fucked up. I done fucked up miserably.
Hmm. Dude, absolutely, man. Like it's like, dude, it's so simple, right? Like they could have those experiences you talked about. They could have the experience where it's like you have this inside joke with her because like you turned her on so much that you can see a little
Mm,
something down there.
I
But there's
have
some
that.
people that'll never experience that. But it's like, dude, when a girl likes you that much and like you did everything right, and it just you that confidence, that aura that you exude from that, it's just like, dude, like it's priceless. You're just like, I'm him. I'm that guy. Like
I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
I'm the guy that my friends are like, fuck, I wish I could be that guy.
Let me tell you a quick story real quick, right? She was like, we were talking about having sex one of the weekends, right? And she was like, and what if I said no? Trying to just be a little sassy, throw me a shit test. She was like, what if I said no? I said, no problem. The next one's already lined up. Don't worry. She was like, huh? She was mind boggled. She was absolutely mind boggled. I said this in person, not over text. This was literally in person. She was like, okay. And what if I said no? Okay, no problem. I got the next one already. Like, look, I'll show you right here. Next, all I got to say is this weekend.
Now she's like, well, I guess we got to do it. I guess we just,
Literally, I'm not kidding, man. She was like, okay, what time do you want to meet? I was like, 3 o'clock. You better be ready. Otherwise, I'm getting the next one.
that's so fucking funny, man. Yeah, dude. It's like, why would she want to deprive herself of such a great experience? It's like, why would you want to? It's almost like self-abuse at that point, man.
Oh, it is. Believe me, it is. She has such a good time, Selna. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not fucking kidding. She literally told me last night, she was like, I'm so high in sex drive that if I didn't have you, like consistently, I would look like a hoe. I'm like,
Bro, you made her like that though, dude. Like you turned her on so much that like it's just such a high sex.
100%,
You're telling me
100%.
that
Like,
she would not have that same sex drive with Mr. Mediated Doggy or whatever it was called. Like, dude, she would never have that with that guy.
no, absolutely not. She was telling me a lot of other stories about like what other guys would do to her, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, listen to this. Ready? Foreplay. You know what foreplay is, right? Obviously, you should know what foreplay is, right? She's
Never heard.
fucking.
I'm a dove, dude. I'm pure as a dove.
You and me both, man. I'm back on the same frequency, man. We're free. We're vibrating right there. You know, she was telling me this story about how this guy, his number one foreplay technique for him was to take a shower with her. That was it. I was like, how fucking weird is that? You are butt naked next to this woman showering.
Is that foreplay or just cleaning? I don't
He,
know.
he claimed to her it was foreplay. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, and now my next question to you is like, how was that sex for you? She
Yeah,
goes, it was the worst I've ever had.
the
I go,
worst.
yeah, I figured. I go, as is every single one of them that you've told me for the past, she's been with 5 guys and 2 females.
Hmm.
She has had nothing but bad experiences with them. And I was like, so what made you like, want to come after me? Because I didn't open you. You opened me. What made you want to come after me? She was like, I don't know. I kind of just, I wanted you. I was like, okay, but there was something else. What was it? She was like, no, you just carried yourself in a different way. Like you walked like you fucking own the place. Like,
Yeah, you do. Hell
and
yeah,
and like
you do.
and
Now you
like I
do,
just
baby.
she's like she was like, I wanted to see your fucking dick. Like I wanted to fuck you. Like I was like,
Bro, because you're the fucking man, bro.
I was
Bro,
like,
Team
okay,
SK for life, baby.
I was like, okay, all right. So now what's your take on it? Like, how much have you told other people about this experience without saying my name? She goes, too many, too many. I go, stop making me look like a whore now. Like, would you?
Dude, like, what does that feel like?
Pretty cool, man. It feels amazing. It feels amazing because it's not just on base that I can walk around. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, like I have finally got to the point where I've connected every part to the puzzle. I've connected the attraction. I've connected the rapport. I've connected the intimacy. I've connected the sex. I've connected the aftermath. I've connected doing it multiple times, being able to succeed on multiple different occasions. It is not something that's uncommon for me anymore. I It is a good feeling to be able to walk into any environment, look at a chick, and say what I want to say without having to worry about like, hey, was that too far? I don't
Mm,
give a fuck. I'm
mm,
gonna say what I want to fucking say. If you don't like it, step. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna walk up to some random chick and say, hey, I'm fucking you tonight. Like,
right,
that's not what I'm saying.
right.
But what I'm saying is like, it doesn't matter what I say. I can say as simple as what you say, how you say it, and how you act. Plain and simple. You have to be congruent in all three of them. And then on top of that, if you say you're going to do something, you better execute it. So if you're deep in conversation and you're talking about banging around until she gets, wet or comes, you better fucking do that.
Hmm.
Because then she ain't gonna want to do it again with you if you're not congruent. You
Right.
have to be congruent on all three of them, on your attraction, your intimacy, your rapport, the whole 9 yards. It doesn't matter what, you have to be congruent through every single stage. If you're not, you will not succeed. It takes time to get congruent on every single stage. You have to understand what step one is, step two, three, four. And as soon as you understand all of them, you got to be able to put them all together. If you can put them all together, you're going to get what I have, a very obsessed woman.
Hmm.
Now, you asked me, do I want a relationship with her? Fuck no. I never want a relationship with her. I just asked her just to see what her response was going to be. I don't want anything to do with her. I just want to fuck her and keep moving. So that's the reality of it.
Hmm. That's what you can do, man. You have the power of choice, and that's
Oh,
what's
yeah.
so beautiful about it. Before we
That I
wrap
think.
up, dude, let's get a picture really quick before I forget, bro. Oh shit, hey, I got to focus on us, right? There we go, dude. I got you, bro. That's so fucking dope, bro. You came such a long. You look good too, man. Not even in a gay way. You look good, bro.
Appreciate it. I got to get a fresh cut, though. I'm a little behind on that. A
I
little
am
behind
too,
on the
man. It's
fresh
getting a
cut.
little long over here, bro. Looks kind of good. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. I gotta get a cut too, dude. I gotta get a cut too.
Yeah. I'm
What
growing
should
out the
what should
stash a
we
little
wrap
bit.
up? You said what?
So I'm growing the stash out a little bit.
I know, man. Fuck with it. Looks good.
Yeah. It's crazy. The stash does some crazy things, man, especially when you're going on a little bit of neck kissing. That extra little tingle, man. And she goes crazy, but it's just me.
Yeah, dude. I want to see that winch channel blown up tonight when she comes over.
I mean, come on, how much more am I gonna put? Like I've put almost every single occasion. But
Blow
I mean,
however much you whatever else you do, man. Fuck it. You
yeah,
deserve.
man. What I'm really excited for, right? If you want to end on this really high note, is like I'm excited to go to Jacksonville. Like I told you, I'm getting PCS there. I'm excited to get the fucking checks there, man. I'm excited to be able to get out, start fresh with a fresh set of people that don't know who I am and just walk in there and fucking dominate the place. Just fuck every chick that I see. It's just literally it. I'm gonna walk down the road. If I think you're attractive, you're in my fucking bed. I don't give a fuck.
Bro, I love that, dude. That's just confidence, bro. It's just fucking aura right there. How
That's what
how
I'm
should
excited for.
how should we wrap this thing up, bro? What is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you have to say, bro? How should we end this?
I mean, you asked me what I wanted to tell the people who don't want to take action. I answered that. That was probably one of the biggest things is like, if you want to be stuck where you're at, man, I don't know. I highly advise you don't because it's not worth it. Definitely not worth it, man.
Yeah, dude. It's just like, bro, it's not worth it to stay stuck. You know what I mean? It's like,
Imagine this. Imagine this. You're running, right? You're in mud. But you just keep sinking. Just keep sinking. Before you know it, you're like at your feet. Now you're here at like your neck. Before you know it, now you're here at like at your head. Before you know, you're gonna be so far down deep that you just can't do anything about it.
mhm.
That's the age of like 40, 50. Maybe even I think 40 years old, if you ain't got somebody by 40, you did something wrong. If you did something fucking wrong.
Mhm.
All right. It's just me.
It's like, dude, they could have it now. They
Oh, they could.
just gotta just you have to participate in your own rescue, right? It's like we're here. They could be joining the program tomorrow talking to you, bro, and being
I
like,
mean,
dude, like,
you
how are
can
you doing
if
it?
you
Help.
want.
And they could be fucking getting results by like it's Friday now. They could be getting results by Sunday, dude, like getting dates at least. But it's like they gotta participate in their own rescue.
100%, man. If you want it, you got it. And if you want it, always hit me up. You can hit him up. You can hit me up. You can hit anybody up in the channel. That's the thing. That's the great thing about the community, right? If you want to end on this is going to be solid, right? Talk about the community, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Yeah, please.
So the community, right? It is not just you and you alone going through the program. It's nothing. It is that program is there, but it's also the support behind you. You've got numerous numerous of other guys that are with you, going through it with you, who has had success, who is going to have success, and is working to get success. You have every phase of the cycle from start to finish. And the people who are finished are just going back to step one to do it again with another chick, if they so please. If they don't, like Moses, who's got himself a girl, who's going to be with the girl. You know, his end goal was met. He is now with a female as a girlfriend who might eventually end up marrying her. I don't actually know what this track is, but at the end of the day, you can start from step one. You have everybody through every single step there to walk you through it, to help you through it. You got every channel you can imagine in there to get advice from, whatever it may be. Whatever your brain thinks it needs, you can get it. You know, you got Selna directly, you got Moses directly, you got every other guy in it. Directly, you can chat with, hey, look, man, I'm struggling with this. Hey, man, my confidence is kind of down today. You know, what should I do? Hey, man, I'm feeling real nervous. I got this chick right in front of me. What should I do? Hey, man, this is what you should do. Hey, man, I'm in bed right now. And I just feel real nervous to make the first new move. What should I do? Hey, man, I just got done pounding her. Like, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, I dropped her off. Now what do I do? Hey, man, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do this anymore, man. You have an outlet for every single thing you can think of. Doesn't matter what it may be. It could be even real life. It doesn't have to be relationship. If you're struggling, hey, man, I'm at work and I'm struggling. You have a community that you can reach out to for help, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter what it may be. It could be anything. People are there to help. At the end of the day, we're all here for a common goal. And that is actually why the military does so well. Because everybody has a common goal. You have a program where everybody has the same common goal. If everybody has the same common goal, you guys have a common ground, which means I can talk to you about anything I want. Which means if I'm walking down the street and I see Selma, even if I didn't know him, but he was in the program, I could talk to him about whatever the fuck I want. So we have the same common goal. It's the same thing as the military does. If I'm walking down the street and I see somebody who's in the military, I can talk to them about anything. We have the same common goal. We have the foundation is very common, right? Common foundation, you start with foundation and you build up. You keep building, right? The foundation is the same. The foundation is we all went through this program. Foundation for the military is everybody goes through boot camp. Everybody can talk about one thing. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. And then one thing leads into many, many, many other things. So think about that. One thing will lead into hundreds of other things. I'll tell you for a fact. I've been with this program for a while and I enjoy every minute of it.
Love that, dude. Yeah, dude. This is Sean, a fucking beast, man. Thanks for sharing your story, bro. And cheers, dude.
Appreciate it.
With my water here. Dude, thanks so much for coming on, man. I totally agree. And dude, way to just take action and do this. Like your life is imagine where you would be now if like you didn't do this. Would have been crazy.
Man. I don't want to imagine that, man. I really don't. I'd probably still be a virgin, to be honest with you.
It's tough. But
Yeah,
hey, you made a good choice, my friend. You made a good choice.
So will all these other people, hopefully, who are listening to this. They got to take action.
Hey, man, if we inspire one person to change their life, dude, and take action, bro, like we did our job.
And I want to know that person. I want them to drop that shit in the chat when they enter.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
shout me the fuck out. I want to hear it.
Oh, dude, I want them to be like, yeah, at Sean, like I watched that interview with you, dude. Like, this is why. Like, that's why.
That's exactly what I'm saying, man. I want a fucking shout out.
Oh yeah, we're manifesting that, dude. It's gonna happen. Probably with multiple
100%.
people, man, to be honest. But if we inspire one, great.
Nah, man, I'm looking for like 5, 6, maybe even 7, man. I'm looking for the numbers. I'm looking for over that actually. We can get this damn video up to like, I don't know, what, 25,000 views, man. We get a bunch of people.
Someone will take action for sure. So, dude, thanks for coming on, brother. You're a fucking beast. I want to do a part. I want to do like a part two. What's your favorite number? I can't even remember how many interviews we've done. What's your favorite number? We'll just call this video number, whatever.
Number 3, 2, I don't know.
Interview number 3. All right. Well, we'll do interview number 3 with you next time when you do it all over again, bro, at PCS.
Yeah, man, it's definitely the dream. And that's what's gonna happen. So I'll keep you in the loop, and we'll definitely, of course.
Absolutely, man. Cool. Well then, dude, keep crushing it, and let's fucking rock the house, bro. And light that winch channel up, dude, like a Christmas tree.
I got you, man. I got you.
All right, man. Thank you for your services, by the way, bro. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
You're welcome. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, dude. Appreciate you too. Talk to you soon.
Peace out.
Peace.